Hi people, Daniel from Devil & Sons Guitars here, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can apply fret decals to your guitar or bass. Fret decals are a really simple and easy way to change the look of your guitar. In fact, I used them a lot in the past before I learned how to do my own fretwork. This very early Shattercaster prototype I made as a bass guitar has got black blocks put on it. They've probably been there 5 or 6 years, and I've played this guitar live a lot and they haven't worn at all. They're so thin they don't get in the way. So in this video I'm going to give you an overview of how to put them on. I've put on a lot in the past and I've got a few tips that will really help you do it. Fret decals come in a massive variety of different finishes. You can have standard circle finishes like these ones, and normally a pack would have different sizes so they get smaller as they go down the frets, and these would literally just cover the fret markers you already have. So there's some plain circles. I've also got some ones left over from guitars I've made in the past, like these circles which were eyes. I've also got circles which were blood, circles which were rusty screws, a series that included Space Invader characters, some stormtroopers, and then you get things like these bats, plain blocks that you could put on. This one's on my bass, and really long ones that will wind all the way along the fretboard. So this one would actually go over the first fret and then work its way down along the guitar, a winding snake. One thing to remember before you install them is you really need to clean your guitar fretboard up. They're made from a very thin material, so these ones, and most of them, are 0.07 millimeters thin, so you don't feel them when you play. They're made from something called PET, polyethylene terephthalate. Let's get down to the table and look at how you install them. So the things you're going to need for putting the fret decals on are a rest to put the neck on, and obviously the neck itself. Something like a plectrum or a coin that you can use to rub the fret decals with. A scalpel to help you put them down. You're also going to need some scissors to cut the fret decals themselves, and I always like to add a cup of tea when you're working on something long like this. For a set of fret decals that go across the whole neck, like this Tree of Life, they're going to have a space in them ready for where the frets are going to go. So you need to cut the fret decals as close as you can to the edge of them, ready to position them between the frets. If you've only got ones that cover the fret markers, you still need to cut them so they're going to fit within the fret space. Then once you've cut them, you're going to lay them down without sticking them down first, so they've still got the backing on, across the length of the whole neck in the position that they need to be in. And if, again, for a Tree of Life like this, it goes across the whole neck, you need to line it up as close as you can to make sure the image flows perfectly. This fret decal has enough for 24 frets, but this guitar doesn't actually have 24 frets, there's some left over. Now I find the best way to actually attach the decals is not starting at one end and working towards the other, but starting with the decals that go over each particular fret marker, so the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, etc. fret. Now if you're just covering the fret markers, not the whole fretboard, you can start really wherever you want, but for a whole length one like the Tree of Life, it's better to start covering the actual fret markers. Now the fret decals actually are in 3 layers: a clear film that's on the top, the fret decal itself, and the backing behind it. And here you can see that the decal stuck a bit to the front, clear covering, and a bit to the back. So before you take the fret markers off, it's good to rub them down with your plectrum. That makes sure that the fret decal really sticks to the front clear covering and will peel away from the backing, because you want to peel the backing off and keep the fret decal as intact as possible. Now I'm going to start by lining up the 3rd fret decal, and I'm going to try and make sure it covers the fret marker underneath, but also still lines up nicely with the 2nd and 4th fret decals that are lying in place but not actually put down yet. Once it's lined up, I'll use my pick again just to rub over the decal and my fingers a bit to get it right into the frets, to make sure a lot of pressure is pushed down. You can sort of see the transparent covering bubbling away slightly when you're pushing this down, which means that the fret decal is sticking to the fretboard below. Like I said, on a decal that covers the whole length of the neck like this, I'm going to cover the actual fret markers first, so 3rd, 5th, etc. all the way to the end of the guitar, making sure they still line up with the fret decals that are in between. Then we can put the fret decals on that are left over. So I normally start at the first fret, and each one that I put on, I make sure it connects to the ones that are already down by making sure the ones that are in between, like so here I'm putting the first fret and the third fret's already down, I'm making sure that the second fret lines up and connects the two together. And then I work my way along, second fret, third fret's already down, fourth fret, making the fourth short, making sure that the fourth fret fits nicely between the third and the fifth that are already in place, etc. until I get to the end of the neck. Here's a quick run along of them all in place with the protective covering still on. Now you're meant to leave the fret decals down in place for a short amount of time with the coverings on before you peel them off, but I find the amount of time it took to work from the first fret all the way to the 12th fret is long enough if I start by peeling the protective covering off on the first fret. And this is where I have my scalpel handy, just in case, as is seen here, the decal starts to peel slightly by sticking to the backing. Let's see that again on the second fret. I'm going to peel the covering off, and you can see it's lifting up just here, so I'm going to use my scalpel to push down on the decal and just hold it in place whilst I pull off the covering. You could actually use a pick here as well. I just find because the scalpel is a bit thinner, it's easier to get it in place. I'll continue to work my way across the fretboard from the ones that I put on earliest to the last ones I put on, and I have this technique that I like to use where I peel back the covering at as tight an angle as possible, as you can see just here. What I find is if you pull it back at a really tight angle, it doesn't pull the fret decal up and away from the fretboard at all. It really allows you to peel it off without the decal coming away, but always having the scalpel handy just in case. It's quite a repetitive task, but it's not too complicated. Once it's done, I like to condition the fretboard, and that helps to clean off any marks that might be left from the protective covering on top. So using something like a lemon oil or a conditioning liquid. Then you can work your way across the guitar and you should be left with a finish a bit like that. Great, well I hope you found this video useful, and if you have put fret decals on your guitar bases, please share photos of them with me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Obviously I'm on YouTube too, and if you like this video, I make lots more videos like this. There's a load coming up, so please do like and subscribe. You'd also support me through Redbubble, where I sell merchandise like this t-shirt and posters and stickers. Until next time, happy strumming.